Today we're going back to my roots. We're going to make some good old German food and celebrate the new year. I really wanted to make a traditional meal that I would have had when I grew up. And I come from a German background, and it is good luck on the new year to have some kind of pork and some kind of cabbage to celebrate and new beginnings and all that stuff. And it's supposed to bring you somehow some good luck. I don't know. Easily thought of this book to go with it. And it's a collection of short stories. I've had this for probably 15 years, and I love to go back and read them. And it's called Home, and it's all different authors, and they're American authors, but they come from so many diverse backgrounds. You get to kind of have a view into what was their growing up and their traditions, and so I wanted to introduce you to some of mine. So go read Home. It's edited by Sharon Stone, whatever. American Writers Remember Rooms of Their Own. So go read this book and come to my house and let's have some German food. Yeah. I'm going to make a pork loin. Like, it could be any form of pork. You could actually do pork chops, whatever you like. I love a good old-fashioned pork loin. It's super low in fat, and it's super really good when you roast it in the oven. So, first thing you need to do, make sure the fat side is up. A lot of people cut this fat off, or they'll put it underneath, and that is not a good thing because you want the fat to, when it cooks in the oven, to kind of melt over the meat, and it kind of bastes the meat for you and makes it extra yummy. You're going to need a lot of garlic cloves for this. If you don't like garlic, I'm sorry, but second of all, you could use onions if you wanted. You could, I don't even know what else you could use. Just use garlic. I want these garlic cloves fairly whole, so I don't want to totally smash them. Give them a little tap. So you want to cut them. So they're about that big. We're going to do something really good with this. I actually learned this trick from my father-in-law, who also, I believe, comes from German background and spent some time in Germany. So what you're going to do is you're going to stab it. Take a pair of knife and just put some slits. Don't go too far down. And you just got to find those little holes and plug them up with the garlic. If the garlic's too big, just cut it down. And what that's going to do is when you roast this, the garlic is going to infuse into the pork. And it's going to be so delicious. And you'll cut the slices, and you'll have these beautiful pieces of garlic. If I have company that I know doesn't like garlic, you know, like big chunks of garlic, I'll just make sure when I slice it and put them on the platter that I have some that don't have the actual pieces in them. They're very, you know, garlic is one of those things that's very strong to some people. I don't understand them, frankly. The other good thing about this, too, is that the juices kind of get down deep into the roast. Seasonings that we're going to put on it. Hey! Get in there. Alright. So now, you got tons of garlic studded throughout your pork loin. I'm going to wash my hands. Now, for the seasonings. Very simple. Rosemary. Sage. It seems like a lot, but what's going to happen is as it cooks and as the fat renders out of it, it's going to form this beautiful crust, crispy crust on the top of your roast. Yum. Pepper. And salt. Good shivvy shake. And I put a cup of water. Stick that in the oven, uncovered, 375. It's going to take a couple hours to cook. Next, we're going to make our red cabbage. If you've ever watched Christmas Story, see the big pot of red cabbage, and it's like, you know, oh, red cabbage again. I love red cabbage. I think it's delicious. It's a little bit acidic. It's a little bit sweet. So good. And it goes really good with the pork. So, I'm going to take this head of red cabbage, chop it down the middle, cut out the core. You can buy this usually already chopped up. And then you're going to chop this way. And once this way. I'm gonna dice up an onion real quick. This is something too you could do in your crock pot. You could put these same ingredients in your crock pot and cook them like all day long. If you don't have the time, you can cook them on your stove. We've got our onion in there. I'm gonna add in all this beautiful cabbage. Mix it up in the oil a little bit. Looking down, I'm going to cut up my apple. You get my handy dandy apple core thing. Get a rough chop on the apple. Apple in there. And I'm going to add a little bit of garlic powder. Of course, if you have leftover cloves, you can use that. Some pepper. Some salt. 2 tablespoons of balsamic vinegar. That's going to give it that characteristic, like cabbagey, almost sauerkrauty, but I don't want to say sauerkraut because a lot of people do not like sauerkraut. I'm just going to get a little bit of like that tanginess. Well incorporated. Now we're about ready to just let this get happy. But I'm going to add some Cabernet Sauvignon, whatever dry red you have. I'm going to add, I don't know, it's probably about a half a cup. Get that in there. This is something, again, that you can kind of taste it as you go along and decide what it needs more of. Just don't put tons of salt in the beginning because it'll get really salty. Alright. I'm going to turn that down to about a third of the way up on the stove. Make sure it's really well incorporated. We're going to throw a top on that. Make sure it's low enough, it's not going to burn, and I'm just going to let it go and check on it every so often. So next time I see you, we will be taking our pork loin out of the oven and serving it up with our delicious red cabbage, which always reminds me of home. And see you in a minute. So I just took the roast out, and for pork, you know, make sure that you don't drop it on the floor, that it's at least 170 degrees. I take it out about 160, 165, and then just let it sit on the counter because it makes the juices kind of do that. I don't know what that is. So you see that it's got that nice crust. The fat's kind of crusted, which sounds disgusting, but will taste the best, like the best thing ever. Slice into that. See those garlic cloves are kind of popping out as you slice through it. Yum. And our red cabbage is pretty cooked. Everything's kind of cooked together. The apples have kind of softened and taken on the same color as the red cabbage. I have the drippings that came out of the roast pan. I have about a cup, and I added a cup of water to it. And I'm going to take probably 2 tablespoons of cornstarch mixed in with water. Throw that in there. And that's going to, as soon as that boils, that's going to become a very yummy gravy. Put a piece of that pork on there, some of that cabbage, and it's got sweet, tangy, savory, all the amazing things that make us happy. Put a little bit of that pork gravy over the top. Yeah, this is German New Year's in my house, so I'm going to try a little piece of this deliciousness. There are no words. Tastes so good and homey. This is what my family would eat on New Year's Day for luck. Cabbage and pork. And it tastes so good, and I can't wait to go devour this with my family. So go right home and enjoy and have a fantastic New Year, and I'll see you soon. Phenovelnoms.